17 Summer and Sandcastles. Hump Day Newsletter, June 3rd, 2026. Hashtag 17 Summer is in full swing. When I declared it 2 weeks ago, it felt slightly premature because I was in the vibe before Memorial Day. Yet my instincts were validated. Not only did the networks run all of the season finales for basically all the shows I watch, but temperatures in South Florida took a sharp spike in the feels like arena. Yesterday, my weather app read 89 with a feels like 101. And it gave a little note that said, "Might I recommend putting some deodorant under your boobs? You're going to need it." I was visiting my mom at the time, so I handed her my phone. She read it aloud and threw back her head with laughter. It brought me a lot of joy. Her laugh brings me joy. It's one thing about my mom. Side tangent for my audio listeners. Everybody who I talk to my mom about, every time I give them a little memory care update, it's the thing people say most frequently. They just say, "I remember her laugh," and I love her laugh. And so, yeah, her laugh brings me a lot of joy. Oh, Mama. So while I was there, she also tried to sell me to some men that were walking by. She said, "Hey, want a girl?" I was like, "Are you trying to sell me? What are you doing?" And it became quite a joke between us and the staff for the rest of the day. She also invented a new language, which was all profanity in some kind of gibberish. So I'm going to say bad words now, but the gibberish word was fungung ula. And I said, "What the fuck is fungung ula?" And she's just started laughing. And she says, "It means go fuck yourself." And I was like, "Mom, like, why?" And is it Klingon? Is it like what? And she's just laughing. So every now and then we were talking and she'd say, "Why are those people walking over there? What are they looking at? What are they talking about?" And I said, "Fungung ula." And she would just crack up, hysterical laughing. So, yesterday in memory care was an adventure. But she also knew I was her daughter, and she was really proud to tell everybody that I was her daughter. And so that made my heart happy too. Per my annual ritual for 17 Summer, I went to the beach to kick off the event. This season, I revert to my 17-year-old self, a version of me who is invincible, loves unabashedly, and feels free. Freedom. It was less than a perfect beach day. It was windy and a little rainy, but I parked my chair in the sand and watched the disorganized waves chopping in and sloshing out. There was a little terrier on the beach, which, in all honesty, would typically irk me because it's not a dog beach. Hashtag rules. There's a sign. If it's a sign, it means it's real. I get weird about rules. But since it was the first day of 17 Summer, when rules are meant to be broken, it brought me great joy to watch this little pup dashing up and down the shoreline, dipping in and out of the water, chasing Mom and Dad to and fro. Perhaps I laughed out loud, or perhaps he just felt my joy, but the dog stopped, looked directly at me, and made a beeline straight for my chair, like ran from the ocean to my chair. He dropped his toy at my side. He gave me a gift, and waited for me to pet him. His guardians laughed nervously. I'm guessing they weren't sure what I was going to think of the rule-breaking situation. And they said, "He makes friends everywhere he goes." The terrier stayed put. All dogs love my massages. Finally, Dad gave a command. The pooch grabbed his froggy and shot off toward the ocean. Mom had a seat in her chair, and when the dog turned to go to her, he caught my eye again, changed direction, and ended up back at my side. "Seriously?" she uttered in shock, and I shrugged in return and resumed scratches from puppy head to puppy tail. Hearing another direct command, he reluctantly trotted back to his blanket, where he rolled around with his frog in complete bliss. It was then that I picked up my journal and started writing. I've had a very specific project on my heart for months now. Honestly, if I'm going to tell the truth, it's been years, but it's been really, really heavy on my mind and in my heart for the past couple months. I've hemmed and hawed about the timing and the finances, but until this moment, I had not allowed the creativity to flow. I was stifling the message like an old version of Aaron might. Not free Aaron, not inspired Aaron, and certainly not 17 summer Aaron. I wrote and I wrote freehand, half cursive, half print, in jet black ink on a cream-colored page. Some words, frankly, were illegible, but that was okay. I wrote for at least 30 minutes straight, and when I looked up, the couple and my terrier friend were gone. As I walked back to my car, I wondered, again, if I was really going to do this. Was I really going to reclaim what is mine, step into my power, and expand? Because really, that's what I'm doing. I'm expanding. But was it the, quote, right thing to do? I sighed as I loaded the car and wiped off my feet. As I turned to close the hatchback of my little orange Subaru, something made me look up. Spread out above me was a rainbow, a big, bright arch of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Aho! And so it is. Because how can you ignore a sign so bright, so free, and so utterly miraculous as a rainbow? This week, I invite you to think about your 17 summer intentions. What do you want to do? How do you want to feel? Free? Open? Surprised and delighted? Abandon the thought of all your responsibilities and the other duties as assigned. Seriously, for 15 minutes, you can set a timer if you want to. Pretend they don't exist. What do you dream of? Write it down just for yourself, or share it with someone you love. Because 17 Summer Erin doesn't follow the rules, I decided I'm going to share my project's whole journey on Substack. The ins, outs, ups, and downs, the learning moments, creative waves, and questions that maybe only you can answer. Like, does this thing I'm doing need a companion journal? Oh my gosh, I get so many ideas. If you want to come build a sandcastle with me, meet me on Substack. Bring your pails, your shovels, and love, because it's all about love. Oop, before you wander off, this summer, I'm doing something slightly terrifying, but oh so exciting. I'm creating the 10-year milestone edition of Welcome to Caregiving, the things caregivers never talk about. And I've decided I'm going to share the entire creative process with you. That's right. No hiding in a cave, no reclusive author behavior. You're going to get the behind-the-scenes nitty-gritty from me. The good ideas, the terrible ideas that seem like good ideas at 2 o'clock in the morning. You'll learn what I learn, and you'll witness this refreshed edition take shape, one grain of sand at a time. So if you'd like to join in on the fun, meet me on Substack. My handle is @ErinCopeland. That's Erin with an E, Copeland, no D. I'd love to have you there, because it's all about love.